call to order. I see I have all of the commissioners here except for Commissioner Gordon. At this time, I'll ask for approval of last month's meeting notes. If there are not any concerns or issues regarding last month's meeting notes. I'm going to take a motion. Last month's meeting notes. Second. Have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Nays and nays.
Sorry.
Meeting notes are approved. No old business this time? Oh. Yeah, that's it. Luke. No old business at this time. Any new business is all yours, Ms. Elman.
Thank you. Our first, the first topic is going to be Ms. Pollard. Lindsay, okay. Would you please introduce our guest?
Good afternoon, commissioners and guests. Happy holidays, everyone. Happy holidays, everyone. Okay. All right. This morning we have three special guests that will give short summaries of their experiences. We have Mr. Patrick Keith, who went on the experiment project. We have Mr. Calvin Bird, who also went on the experiment project. And then we have Ms. Zanaya Crump, who is the 2019 winner of the NARO Calendar of the Year Award. So they will come up in that order and give short presentations for you at this time.
Hello.
Good afternoon, commissioners, executive director Ms. Edelman, Huntsville Housing Authority and staff, individuals. My name is Patrick Keith. I am currently 15 years old, and the program I applied to and was chosen for was the experiment to the France regional cultures. I feel this experience has opened my mind to new ideas and culture. The date I attended this trip was July 4th, Independence Day, through July 26th. Through this program, I have learned to adapt to a foreign area, which included furthering my communication skills with people who speak different languages, and eating different foods and in different ways, like drinking chocolate milk in a bowl, and getting used to heavy smoking in certain places, because there's a lot of smokers in France. And but out of all that, the most exciting part of my experience was meeting and getting to know a group of friends from all over the world who make this experience even more worth the while. And that's all. Thank you to the people who live in Huntsville Housing and for choosing me to win this scholarship. And yeah, thank you.
Konnichiwa, watashi wa Calvin Bird. Hajiste mashite. Hello, my name is Calvin Bird. Nice to meet you. That was in Japanese. Okay. Good afternoon, commissioners, executive directors, Mr. Ellison, Huntsville Housing Authority staff, and visitors. Again, my name is Calvin Bird. I remember when I wasn't in Huntsville, Alabama when I got the news that I was going to Japan. I was in Montgomery. I was doing a mock trial, which means that we were doing like a mock trial, like we did like a mock trial of not a real case, but a fake case, and it had to be an attorney for like 3 days. So when I was in a hotel, and I got an email, because I check my emails almost every day, and it was like, congratulations, you got the chance to go to Japan, call me. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm about to have a blast in the summer. So So I was like, okay, I didn't have my phone. My phone was dead. So I was like, okay, you gotta give me my phone. You gotta give me your phone right now, right now, right now. So I called them up. He was like, yeah, Calvin, you got it. You get to go to Japan. Just tell me if you got your stuff or not. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is amazing. So a few weeks later, I got emails from people who are going to Japan with me, like people from New York, Minnesota, and they're really friendly people. At first, I was just like, oh my gosh, who are these people? At first, I thought it was like a stalker or something. So I was like, okay, your name is Sarah, who is, she's from New York. She's from New York, Queens, and she's emailing me. She was like, I'm not a stalker. I'm actually going to Japan with you guys. Actually, meeting these people was amazing because you talk to these people and they're from different parts of the world and they have different points of view. Not only that I get to meet people that are from Japan, I also got to meet people that are from different parts of the world, parts of USA. So when I went to Japan, I actually took classes on Japanese, even though sometimes I didn't understand what the lady was saying. I didn't know she was talking in Japanese or English. I was confused. The food was amazing. The culture, I actually stayed with a host family for 2 weeks at, At 2 weeks I stayed in Tokyo, Japan, and the last 2 weeks I stayed in Hokkaido. I had a host family in Hokkaido. It was a family of 4. They had 2 children. One was named May, and one was named Hiroto. The mother was named Hisan, which means he, but son means like Mrs. or Mr. depending on like what that person's gender is. Hiroto was a blast because he had an amazing spirit. I don't know what it was. He kind of like reminded me of American Boy, even though we was like in Japan because he didn't believe in personal space. He was jumping off the walls. He was just like everywhere. But I still loved him. And the first words he told me was, "I love you." And that was the only English he knew. So I'm just like, he's like this tall, and he's like, "I love you," and I'm just like, yeah. The food was amazing. I went to a restaurant, which is kind of like, their restaurant is kind of like quiet and kind of like everyone's to themselves. And they have like this sliding door, which is kind of like very like soft, so you have to slide it slowly. I learned that the hard way. Because when I walked in, of course, the American, it went boom, and everybody just looks at me like, who is he? Who is he? He's just like on in the room. But like, yeah, it was amazing, especially being able to bowl. I bowled in Japan. This is my first time bowling ever. And I've actually did karaoke was also fun. I did that with my family. They didn't know any American songs. Yeah, it was an amazing experience. And to close it off, I think I learned something during that whole month. I learned that even though that we had different cultures, even though we didn't like understand each other, I know that we got the gist of that. We know we loved each other. Love is a universal thing, and that's what I learned that entire month. Even if I didn't like remember the language or anything, I learned that love is a universal thing. Thank you for this opportunity, and you guys have a blessed day.
My name is Zanaya Crump. I am 12 years old. And good morning to commissioners and Huntsville Housing Authority. The experience it's really a good opportunity because some kids my age don't have this type of opportunity in middle school and half of them don't understand. So I want to give thanks to my mom because she's been a great influencer for me, and all the people in my life they've given me a path to never give up and follow your dreams and be a great entrepreneur when you get older. And as I am right now, currently, I'm a junior entrepreneur, and it's been a great experience. The benefits that I got from housing has been great since I lived in Huntsville. It really gave me experience that there's just more than just one world out there. There's more out of everything. The calendar, it's a great honor to be able to go to Washington, D.C. To represent housing and also Huntsville, Alabama itself. And I really want to thank NARO for choosing me as a winner throughout the nation.
Thank you. We would certainly like to thank all three of you for coming, and I know this was a wonderful experience for you, and we thank you for sharing it with us. Okay.
And I'd like to say,
Go ahead.
it's gotta be hard for people to leave Miss Crumpler, your mother as hard as you do. She on a whole nother level. And to the one that did the travel, got me exposed, I actually posed a question yesterday on social media before one the other day about breaking a poverty-stricken mindset. So I was really talking about myself, but I want to see what other folks had to say. Because I was a young man in the same predicament or worse than what you all did, 126D, 119C Major Court. And the one thing that set me apart from my peers was exposure. So continue to strive to do that. And thank you all for coming today.
Okay, we'll move to the next item on the agenda, which is finance. Ms. Teresa Wade has 3 items to present.
Good morning, good afternoon, I should say, that's 12 now. First item I have is to act on a resolution authorizing quarterly charge-offs for the period ending December 31st, 2018. The Huntsville Housing Authority has on its books $63,059.74 owed by a former resident who vacated September 1st, 2018 through November 30th, 2018. The purpose of this request is to obtain approval to charge off $63,059.74 as collection loss for the quarter ending December 31st, 2018. This action is necessary to remove uncollectible accounts from HHA books. The economic impact of this expense is $63,059.74 and is subject to partial recovery through the collection process. The breakdown of the charge-offs are as follows. Rent, $28,654.40. Maintenance charges, $11,687.19. Court costs, $8,780.70. Late charges, $5,005.00. Retroactive rent, $8,078. Utility charges, $422.45. Bulk cable of $432. The executive director, CEO, recommends that the aforesaid amount accounts in the amount of $63,059.74 be charged off as collection loss on the books of Huntsville Housing Authority. There is a total of 76 accounts. These accounts break down as follows. Prior to eviction, 3 were fraud, 2 were abandonment, 12 was non-payment of rent. The remaining 59 accounts are made of 8 abandonments, 6 criminal activity, 1 disturbing the peace, 1 fraud, 23 non-payment of rent, 11 non-payment of maintenance charge, 1 left the city, 3 went to private dwelling, 5 deceased, a total of 76 accounts. I'm asking for your approval of resolution 2018-40.
Before I ask for a motion, I see some faces I haven't seen here before, just so you know, with reference to our speed. We have committee meetings prior to board meetings, so many of the majority of this information has been over in depth, so I didn't want you to think we were just going through the process. But at this time, I entertain a motion to approve resolution 218-40.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Are there any nays? Motion carried.
All right. Moving forward to my next item, to act on a resolution authorizing the executive director, CEO, contracting officer to enter into a contract to perform the authority's independent audit. The Huntsville Housing Authority is required to have an annual independent audit. HHA issued a RFP to perform the authority's independent audit. 10 firms responded, one deemed non-responsive by HHA procurement officer. Out of the 10 responses, Clifton Larson Allen LLP was the successful bidder. An independent audit is required for the purpose of stating an opinion to whether the financial statements of the authority are fairly stated as whole. The financials of Huntsville Senior Apartments and 360 are reported on HHA's financial data schedule. Therefore, their financials are included in the opinion as to whether HHA's financial statements are fairly stated. The economic impact is the audit for HHA will be $42,500 for the first year with 2 exercisable years, and those will remain the same. There is no increase. Also for 360, that audit will be $10,750 for 3 years. I'm sorry, I misspoke. That's for Huntsville Senior Apartments. And for 360, their audit will be $9,000 for 3 years. Okay? Moving forward. We are not asking the board approval for the partnership audit, only for the HHA audit. The cost for Huntsville Senior Apartments and 360 are being provided to the board solely for informational purposes only. So I'm asking for your approval of resolution 2018-41 for the CEO to enter into a contract with Clifton Larson Allen for our audit. Do we have any questions?
A question. The exercisable option, will that be handled by the director, or will that come back to the board?
That's, it doesn't come back to the board, it's just, we would exercise the option at the discretion of the CEO. That's
You're
right.
actually approving that with this.
Any other questions? If not, it's time I entertain a resolution, entertain a motion to approve resolution 2018-41.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Are there any nays? Motion carried.
Thank you. My third item is the presentation of the low-income housing finance report for the period ending October 31st, 2018. Beginning on the first page of the financials, all of these items are the same as they were presented to you at the previous board meeting. Total revenue is at 105.13%. Our collections of total rental revenue is higher than we had anticipated. The operating subsidy is still trending at being received at 90%. I will say that the CFP, the 1406 operational money will be drawn down as needed. So as total revenue, we're doing better than we had budgeted at that time. Moving forward to expenses, I will note that audit fees are final and that this is a little bit above budget because of the allocation, the budget versus the actual, but when I complete my budget revision, it will be on target. If you will move to page 2 of the financials, the one item that I would like to bring to your attention is materials. And the material line is over budget due to the 10 REACT inspections. We had a floor replacement at scattered sites and the rekeying of the Lincoln Park development. Moving forward to page 3 of the financials. Overall, at this present time, our year-to-date net income is $29,290 compared to a net loss of $306,474. Do you have any questions about any of these line items in the financials? All right, thank you, and have a happy holiday.
Thank you very much, Ms. Wade. Next on the agenda, we have housing operations, and Ms. Thomas is here to present 9 items.
My apologies in advance. Good afternoon, thank you, everyone. Again, as Ms. Edelman said, I have 9 items to present before you today. The first of which is a resolution approving the executive director, CEO, contracting officer to enter into a contract to provide lawn care and landscaping maintenance services for Northwoods and Northwoods Addition. Huntsville Housing Authority requested proposals from qualified, licensed, and insured entities to provide lawn care and landscaping maintenance services for Northwoods and Northwoods Addition. The HHA procurement officer contacted hundreds of vendors. 3 vendors submitted proposals. The evaluation committee objectively rated all respondents, and Under the Sun Landscapes was deemed to be the most responsive bidder to perform the services required in accordance with the RFP scope of services. The cost of the landscaping maintenance services contract is $144,000. The contract is for a period of 1 year with 4 one-year exercisable options.
Just a moment, Ms. Thomas. You could actually do the first 3 resolutions all together if you want to, because they're basically the same
Oh.
thing.
Sure, and so
So
that's,
that speed up things a little bit.
so that's 5 of them. So you just,
Oh, 5, that's right, not 3, 5. Yeah, that's right.
would you like me to just read then ultimately just the costs and who?
Just say who,
That's fine.
yes.
Okay, so for Northwoods, $144,000, Under the Sun Landscapes, and that was resolution 2018-42. Would you like, so just read them all together and then vote on that? Okay. The next one is Sparkman Homes, and 3 vendors submitted. 4A Services was deemed the most responsive at a total cost of $21,000. The next is Cersei Homes. 5 vendors submitted proposals. 4A Services was deemed to be the most responsive at a cost of $19,800. The 4th is Lincoln Park. There were 5 vendors that submitted proposals. 4A Services was also deemed to be the most responsive at a cost of $29,400. And finally, Brookside, there were 4 vendors that submitted proposals. Under the Sun Landscapes was deemed the most responsive at a total cost of $36,000. So you have before you the resolutions 2018-42, 2018-43, 2018-44, and so on and so forth. So I will let you go. So are there any questions about these 5 resolutions that I've submitted for you today? Therefore, it is the recommendation of the CEO, Executive Director, CEO, Contracting Officer, that Huntsville Housing Authority enter into contract for the services as I outlined moments ago with the selected vendors.
Are there any questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve, let me do this, resolution 42, 43, 44, 45, 46.
Is it 42 already?
Move for approval.
42 was the first one for Under the Sun Landscape and North Edition.
Okay.
Move for approval. Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Are there any nays? Motion's carried.
Thank you. The 6th item is a resolution to ratify a contract to provide locksmith services for Lincoln Park. In August 2018, Huntsville Housing Authority required locksmith services at Lincoln Park to rekey the locks of all 194 units. The board was polled on this matter back then, and the vote was unanimous to enter into contract with LockTech Incorporated. The purpose of this resolution is to ratify the previous vote. Just for a little background, quotes were solicited from 6 local companies. 3 companies declined to provide a quote. Two others indicated would provide quotes. However, Lock Tech was the only company to respond within a time frame that would allow HHA to ensure the safety and security of the Lincoln Park residents. The cost of the locksmith services contract was $40,500 to be paid out of the operating subsidy for the property. Therefore, it is the recommendation of the executive director, CEO, contracting officer to ratify the contract with Lock Tech to provide locksmith services for Lincoln Park for an amount not to exceed $40,500. Are there any questions? This is resolution number 2018-47.
Any questions? Questions? At this time, I entertain a motion to approve resolution 218-47.
Move for approval.
Second?
I have a motion and a second, I have approval and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Are there any nays? Motion carries.
Thank you. The seventh item is to act on a resolution approving the revision of the admissions and continued occupancy policy for public housing. HHA developed the admissions and continued occupancy policy for housing authority staff to follow in determining eligibility for admission and continued occupancy of public housing. The basic guidelines for this policy are governed by requirements of HUD, including recent 2018 guidance, with latitude for local policies and procedures. Notwithstanding the above, changes in applicable federal law or regulations shall supersede any provisions in conflict with this policy. We utilize the NAMDK recommended language, recent guidance from HUD, updates in state law, and methodologies to enhance rent collection and improve FAS scores in order to revise the policies governing several aspects of public housing. These include rent payment, income changes, etc. The full scope of the proposed revision is documented in the attachment to the request for board. It was also posted at HHA sites and on our website as well. We also went over these items at the annual plan meeting that was held last week. These proposed revisions are to ensure that HHA remains in compliance with HUD guidance and to enhance the efficiency of public housing operations. This policy should be revised periodically to provide the latest regulatory and statutory changes and to enact policies that encourage administrative effectiveness. Okay. As I said, the attachment, the proposed revisions were attached to the board documents. Therefore, it is the executive director / CEO's recommendation to approve the revised admissions and continued occupancy policy for the public housing program. That is resolution, I guess that's 2018-48. Any questions?
The effective date for these?
Oh, I'm sorry. The effective date for this would be January 1st, 2019. Sorry. I can make sure that that's updated. Is that?
Oh, it was on there.
I just did write it for you.
Okay.
And I think this is one of the issues. And this change is being made to accomplish what, I mean?
Well, we're supposed to change the ACOP every year. Again, with latest updates from HUD, there's been some recent legislation, recent regulatory guidance that has come out, so we use that, but also in order to improve our efficiencies in our administration. Currently, as it stands, there are a lot of items or activities that our staff undertake that take up an extreme amount of time, and so therefore we're able to sort of streamline our activities so that time can be more directed toward dealing with matters on the property, or again, not having to have residents come in all the time and taking up their time as well, and to again just help our administration while also being of benefit to the residents as well.
I think it's I just tell you my concern, and then we'll keep it moving. It's due to the, I guess, the people I interact with and the time and the jobs and the type of employment. I guess it's volatile, and I just didn't see that as being a benefit to the resident at this time. But, are there any other questions, concerns? There are no other questions. I entertain a motion for approval.
Motion to approve.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Are there any nays? Motion carries.
Thank you. My next item is a resolution authorizing the executive director to enter into contract with Corson Fire and Security for purchase and installation of fire extinguishers for various public housing properties. This is in order to comply with fire and safety codes as outlined by the Bureau of Fire Prevention of Huntsville Fire and Rescue and enhance safety of public housing residents. This would be for all public housing sites excluding Johnson Towers, Todd Towers, and Stone Manor, and also excluding our tax credit properties. Huntsville Housing Authority issued a request for quotes on November 7th. 3 quotes were received. They are outlined below in your documents. Corson Fire and Security was deemed the most responsive bidder in accordance with the contract specifications. Corson Fire and Security already inspects and tests all of the other fire extinguishers owned by HHA. The initial cost for the purchase and installation of the fire extinguishers is $65,250. The annual cost thereafter for inspections and testing is $5,985, and these funds will be derived from the operations budget. Again, our hope is that by being in compliance, we will also help limit the number of fires and potential casualties or property losses as a result. So we're thinking this is a very good step. The executive director, the CEO, therefore recommends approval of the contract with Corson Fire and Security for the purchase and installation of fire extinguishers for various public housing properties. Questions?
Should I ask this question in the pre-board meeting, and if it's somewhere in the document, correct me. But how many extinguishers are we talking about for the 65,000?
That would
Roughly.
1,640. So it's a good amount, because at this time we do not have any fire extinguishers in any of our traditional public housing properties. When the fire marshal has been visiting some of our properties as of late, he has indicated that we were not in compliance and that we had better move forthwith in addressing those concerns, or he was going to take, I guess, more strong action. So this is why we were trying to do this, so that we can be in compliance, but also hopefully minimize the chance of, again, anyone being hurt from a fire and or any property damage. But it's over 1,600.
Any other questions? Any other questions? I'll entertain a motion to approve 218-49 at this time.
Move to approve. Second.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All any nays? Motion carries.
Thank you. My final item is a resolution approving the executive director, CEO, contracting officer to amend a contract for employment verification services for public housing and the Housing Choice Voucher Program. HHA is required to perform employment and income verification for its applicants, residents, and participants. Back in 2017, July of 2017, the Board of Commissioners authorized our executive director to enter into contract with The Work Number for the provision of these income and verification services. The Work Number provides instant access to over 200 million employment records for more than 2,200 employers nationwide, and they continue each day to add more and more employers to their rolls. There is no other method for HHA to instantly search and review as many payroll records at one time as is possible with The Work Number. And we have used it before and we have had success. Since that time, the rates for these services have increased and the usage of the services by HHA staff has increased. Amending the contract will allow for HHA to continue using The Work Number in accordance with the Public Housing and Housing Choice Voucher Program needs. In order to move forward with the continued use, the previous contract must be amended to reflect the new cost to HHA. The current contract has a not-to-exceed amount of $35,000. Under the newly amended agreement, HHA will have a not-to-exceed amount of $45,000. The funds would be paid from the Housing Choice Voucher and Public Housing Operating Funds. This is an annual increase of approximately $10,000. It is the recommendation of the Executive Director to amend the contract with the work number to provide employment and income verification services with a not-to-exceed amount of $45,000. This is Resolution 2018-50. Are there any questions?
There are no further questions. I entertain a motion to approve resolution 218-50.
Move for approval.
Second. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Are there any nays? Motion carried.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Thomas. Next on the agenda, we have our Real Estate Development Department, and we have Ms. Keisha Rich here with 5 items.
Good afternoon, board and staff and guests. My first action is requesting the board to act on a resolution authorizing the executive director to enter into a contract with Otis for the renovation of our elevator at Central Office. The elevator at Central has had numerous operational issues. It is currently, as of right now, down for service. So this is something that is of great need at Central so that we can maintain compliance with ADA requirements and that sort of thing. We actually are going through the co-op for this upgrade, and the National Intergovernmental Purchasing Alliance has a contract with Otis. And so the cost to upgrade the elevator is about $55,000, but we're doing the contract in an amount not to exceed $60,000 because there's going to be some additional upgrades that will be required for the entire project. So I requested the board to approve us to enter into the contract for an amount not to exceed $60,000, and it would be with Otis. Are there any questions about this item? And this is Resolution 2018-51. And it will be paid from our capital funds.
I'll just make a comment, this is really needed. We have had employees to get stuck in the elevator and had to get the fire department to get them out.
Are there any other questions at this time?
It's not funny.
Oh, yes, it is. If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve resolution 218-51.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Are there any nays? Motion carried.
Okay, the next item is requesting the board to act on a resolution authorizing the executive director to enter into a letter agreement number 4, with Penrose Block to proceed with the submission of a 2019 low-income housing tax credit application to the Alabama Housing and Finance Authority. As you all know, we've been working with Penrose Block since they were selected as our development partner back in 2015 to redevelop replacement housing for Sparkman Homes. We were awarded tax credits for 2017, and the first phase 1 is currently under construction. We have 80 units there. Now we are requesting the board to approve us to submit this application to help fund phase 2. The cost of the application is a total of $62,535. HHA would be responsible for 75% of that cost, which comes to $46,901, with the remainder to be paid by the developer. I've attached the letter agreement and the corresponding budget to the action. I also have President Eamon Martin from Penrose Block to answer any questions that you all might have about our application. And also, I let you all know that we've applied for home funds with the city to support this application as well. And Eamon told me we should know, hopefully this week, if we will receive the home funds, which would put us in a great position to be successful.
Good afternoon. As Keisha said, Eamon Martin, I'm a senior developer with Penrose Properties, representing Penrose Block. And Keisha's absolutely correct. We have application for city home funds into the city. And my last discussion with the city was that we have had an outstanding application. Unfortunately, there were two other applications with two other developers. So there will be some steep competition, so we're really keeping our fingers crossed at this point. Because as you all know, these 9% low-income housing tax credits are extremely competitive. And the state agency, Alabama's Housing and Finance Authority, only approves one application per county. So the home funds would allow us to get 2 points, which would be well the difference between scoring and not scoring. The other thing I did want to add, phase 1 is proceeding, although a little muddy out there. I mean, actually our biggest challenge with construction for phase 1 has been the weather. As you all know, we have had a rainy season since closing in March of this year. So unfortunately, other than that, in Huntsville utilities, because of the success of the city of Huntsville, the amount of construction going on, bringing power to the site, we have to really stand in line. So other than that, we hope to see buildings coming online and moving residents in March of April of 2019. And I believe, Keisha, we have some pictures going around. And unfortunately, I apologize, we did not include aerials of phase 1, because it really shows you the depth of the 80 units. There are 16 building pads. The majority of those are either under roof or framing going up. So the project is proceeding, and if you're ever in the area, 1700 Balch Road, definitely stop by and see us.
Thank you, Amy.
All right, 52?
Yes.
All right, are there any other questions? Concerns? Now, I'll entertain a motion to approve 218-52.
Move to approve.
Second?
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Are there any nays? Motion carries.
Okay, the next item that I have, I'm requesting the board to act on a resolution authorizing the executive director to execute an amendment to a memorandum of understanding that we have with Huntsville Utilities for partnership in the Uplift pilot program. Back in June 2018, you all approved us to commit $1 million to this effort, and our $1 million was matched by TVA with another $1 million to replace HVAC units at Northwoods. That contract has moved along, and we have replaced all of the HVAC units at Northwoods, but there was still a remaining $20,790 left in HHA funding, and another corresponding $20,790 left in TVA funding. So we just need this amendment to show that we're going to use the remaining funds to replace electric water heaters at Northwoods. And with this funding, we can replace approximately 21 units there. But there's no change in our financial commitment with this. It's still $1 million. We're just spending the last of it. Are there any questions about this item? And it's 2018-53.
Any questions, concerns regarding 2018-53? If not, at this time, I'll entertain a motion for approval.
Move for approval.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Are there any nays? Motion carries.
Okay, the next item that I have for the board is requesting action on a resolution authorizing the execution and submission of our certifications of compliance with the PHA plan and related regulations, including our required civil rights certification and our annual and 5-year budgets for the fiscal year 2019 PHA plan. Every January, we are required to submit an annual plan. As Danielle said earlier, we had a hearing last week where we presented the plan in full along with the corresponding budgets. I also discussed it with you all at our committee meeting. So we are requesting the board to execute the certifications of compliance, and if there are any questions, I do have copies of the plan in full if anyone would like to see that. And the plan is also posted on our website too if anyone wants to look at it.
There are no questions or concerns regarding 218-54. for approval?
Move for approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Any nays? Motion carries.
The final item that I have for the board today is requesting your action to act on a resolution to reaffirm previous authorization to submit a demolition application to the Special Application Center at HUD for the demolition of 166 units at Sparkman. The board has previously granted this approval. However, talking through with our field office and completing the application, it was recommended that we update our board resolution so that it is more closely related in time to the actual application. So I'm presenting this item to you all today just to reaffirm your previous approval so that we can move forward with the submission of our demolition application for Sparkman Home.
You shipping this off today?
I wish. No, actually, I will not be shipping it off today. I was speaking with our point of contact at the field office, and I was just told that we will have to submit a request to release funds. So we'll have to run that in the newspaper for 2 weeks. So I'm gonna have to get with Scott Irwin at the city of Huntsville so that he can get that published, because the city is our responsible entity and they sign off on all of our environmental review. So I'm gonna have to get with him so that he can run it, publish it in the newspaper for 2 weeks, and then the city will sign the form, and then we will be ready.
Keisha and I discussed this. I don't remember us ever having to do this before.
And this is a new requirement. HUD just recently updated the demolition application, and when they did, they added this as an attachment to the application.
But it will get done within the next 3 to 4 weeks, definitely. And did HUD indicate if they want to see the entire application before we submit it?
Birmingham?
Yes.
I'm talking with Jim about that.
I know Velma had said that at one point in time. but-
Yeah, so I'm sure that they'll want to go through it with us too before we submit it to DC. That's where we submit it for their approval, but our Birmingham office wants to go through with us as well. And this is resolution 2018-55.
Woo! If there are any other concerns or questions regarding this demolition application, I'll entertain a motion for approval for resolution 2018-55.
Move for approval.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Are there any nays? Motion approved.
Thank you. Happy holidays to everyone.
Thank you.
Executive Director, comments?
Well, I'd just like to thank everyone for being patient with me. As you know, I've been out having knee replacement surgery and have been working from home. And that's working fine, I think. This will be the last week to work from home, then I'm on vacation during the holidays, so. But y'all can get in touch with me anytime. I do want to tell you that our audited submission of our FDS was accepted by HUD, which means we will be high performer. We have not gotten our letter from HUD yet, and I go check on the website every day to see if it's posted. It is not, but since they did approve our audit and nothing has changed, we will be high performer for that this year. So that's exciting. And I don't have anything else. Oh, I would like to thank staff for moving so speedily through all of this. I never thought we'd get through in this amount of time.
Public comments, I see we have someone sign up, but he's already spoken.
Okay.
Do you have something else to say, sir?
No, no, sir.
Commissioners?
Nothing other than thanks for, us achieving high performer. Again, we take it for granted, but I know there's a lot of hard work. Thank you.
I'd like to say happy holidays. Thank you all for another, I don't think I'll see you until after next year. So, job well done. And I can actually say ladies. Job well done, ladies. That's a it's something I want to, I guess I can throw that out, this probably should possibly be in there, but, in reference to properties and land in the future, you know what, I will say that for later. But I don't have anything else. No one else has any questions, concerns? Means adjourned.